Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Reputation damaged for Hope and Carter. Is there a sinister secret in Daphne's fragrance? According to spoilers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Steffi Forrester Finnegan hired Daphne Rose. Steffi is certain Daphne can assist her in giving Forrester Creations back to its original owners. However, Daphne's perfume has a distinct fragrance. Let's talk about the perfume issue and how it might completely upend the soap opera. The brilliant idea of Steffi Forrester Finnegan. The Forrester family is still in shock over Carter Walton and Hope Logan's treachery, according to B&B spoilers. When Justin Barber was unable to assist, Steffi had an original suggestion. B&B spoilers, Daphne Rose is stunning. The week of January 6, 2025, was when Daphne was first presented. Demanding a line of perfumes, Daphne barged into Forrester Creations. Daphne even threatened to stop working in Paris if Fanny Grayson didn't back down. Fanny enthused about how Carter and Hope must accept Daphne's arrangement, without taking offense at all. Daphne was also referred to as a deity by Fanny. Everyone, including Fanny, seemed to be enchanted in some way. The perfume issue in Paris. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope and Carter asked Daphne if she had any samples when she entered Forrester Creations. Daphne merely removed her scarf and waved it at Carter and Hope. Carter and Hope closed their eyes and took a deep sniff of Daphne's scarf's aroma. With stars in their eyes, Hope and Carter were enthralled over a pleasant-smelling scent. Steffi, on the other hand, was able to smell Daphne before he could see or hear her. Steffi became aware that someone else was in her home because to Daphne's scarf. Steffi was utterly enthralled by Daphne's scented scarf as well. There seems to be something going on here, even though it might have just been that wonderful of a perfume. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Are Hope Logan and Carter Walton doomed? The scent of Daphne's perfume is almost like a drug. Their eyes have a dreamy expression as they exclaim how wonderful this woman is. Certain fragrances of essential oils cause specific emotions in the brain. A certain mixture might occasionally cause strange emotions or reactions in people. Perhaps the perfume is comparable in some way. Daphne's smell may evoke sentiments of admiration and joy in most people, but what if it has a negative reaction after being made public? If enough people react negatively to the perfume, may Hope and Carter's reputation be destroyed? It would also clarify how Daphne manages to win over even her most ardent rivals, like Fanny Grayson. Jack Bombshell, Lee vs. Poppy, Ridge meets Daphne, and Luna Charmed. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for January 13th to 17th, 2025, are here now. Fans can anticipate Ridge Forrester's meeting with Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, next week. Could this lead to issues between Taylor Hayes and Ridge? Really fascinating. Lee Finnegan also finds out that Luna Nozawa's biological father is Jack Finnegan. Luna is also enchanted by Will Spencer. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. Spoilers for Monday, January 13th. Lee Finnegan's fight on The Bold and the Beautiful. Steffi Forrester Finnegan requests a position at Forrester Creations, according to B&B spoilers for the week of January 13th. Hope Logan, though, has doubts about Steffi's intentions. Versus Luna Charmed and Poppy. Lee criticizes Poppy for her parenting abilities at the hospital. Luna apologizes to Bill Spencer in the interim. Spoilers for B&B for Tuesday, January 14th. Lee wants to get right to the point, so she stays evasive on Tuesday, January 14th. In another scene, Bill begs Luna to recount how she killed Paul Hollister and Tom Starr. Why does Bill ask the same question again and over? Does Bill find anything that Luna's previous statements don't make sense? Perhaps Luna didn't actually murder them? Sometimes, soap operas have a tendency to distort history even if it was depicted on screen. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful for Wednesday, January 15th. Luna Nozawa was entertaining. According to Wednesday, January 15th spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke Logan believes she can win Ridge back if Steffi returns to work. Bill and Will are having a quiet talk while Luna is hiding. Luna grows even more enamored with Will as she listens. Spoilers for B&B for January 16th. You can anticipate Steffi introducing Daphne to Ridge on Thursday, January 16th. But may Ridge and Taylor's renewed romance be in jeopardy if Daphne is truly irresistible? Perhaps Taylor was so reluctant to get back together with Ridge for a reason. At last, Lee receives the munitions she requires. Lee confronts Poppy about Jack being Luna's biological father after she does. What effects will Jack's impending return have on Poppy, Lee, Bill, and Luna? Spoilers for Friday, January 17th. TH's face-off between Brooke Logan and the Bold and the Beautiful. Brooke and Taylor will face off on Friday, January 17th. If Ridge wound up with Daphne, though, it would be incredibly intriguing and force Brooke and Taylor to cooperate in order to beat the French perfume princess. The news of Steffi Forrester's possible return to Forrester Creations sent shockwaves across the workplace, causing tension to approach a boiling point. Steffi had dominated Forrester Creations for years, confidently using her power and earning the admiration, if not always the love, of her colleagues. But the company was in a vulnerable situation because of her abrupt departure months earlier and her turbulent personal life. Rumors of her return were now evoking conflicting feelings among the employees, and Hope Logan was the most outspoken of them. Hope and Steffi have been at odds for a long time, with their antagonism stemming from both personal and professional conflicts. Even though they frequently worked together at Forrester Creations, their complicated past with Liam Spencer made their connection especially tense. Although both ladies claim to have gotten past their years of being locked in a never-ending cycle of love, betrayal, and heartache, old wounds had a way of coming back to haunt them. The declaration. Hope's response to Ridge Forrester's announcement at a team meeting that Steffi was thinking about taking an executive position back at Forrester Creations was clear and quick. She shot a quick glance at her mother and loyal ally, Brooke, and then spoke forward to voice her worries. "Are we certain that this is the best course of action?" Hope started off with a controlled tone that was clearly tinted with uncertainty. "Steffi has been absent for some time. In her absence, we have been putting a lot of effort into stabilizing the business because a lot has changed. Restoring her may undo all of our accomplishments." As always, the patriarch of diplomacy, Ridge tried to soothe Hope. "Hope, Steffi is a Forrester. This business is as much her legacy as it is yours. She has every right to be present and help make it a success." Hope, however, was not persuaded. In private, she questioned whether Steffi's comeback was more about regaining control than it was about advancing the business. She kept thinking that Steffi might have more selfish intentions than Ridge was prepared to acknowledge. The underlying disagreements. Hope wasn't totally without reason to be skeptical. Hope had taken on a more substantial role at Forrester Creations during Steffi's absence, managing her own line and making notable progress in establishing herself inside the organization. She was desperate to prove herself to her family and to herself, so she had put her all into her work. Now that Steffi's return was imminent, Hope felt as though her accomplishments were being eclipsed. It was about the two women's long-standing relationship, in which Steffi frequently seemed to win rather than merely their professional rivalry. Later that night, while they were sitting in their living room, Hope confessed in Liam, "She always manages to jump in and take over. It seems like everything revolves around Steffi again the moment she shows up, regardless of how hard I work or how much I achieve." Liam spoke diplomatically, having learned to walk lightly while discussing Hope and Steffi. "I understand that it's annoying, but perhaps things will be different this time. Steffi has experienced a great deal. Perhaps she is returning with a new outlook." Hope wasn't so sure, though. Conflict and uncertainty. The tension in the room was evident when Steffi eventually made it to Forrester Creations for a casual meeting with the executive team. Wearing a sharp black suit, Steffi looked confident as she spoke to the workforce, sharing her ambitions to revitalize the company's identity and her vision for its future. Hope couldn't help but believe that Steffi's lecture was more about establishing control than providing practical solutions, even though many others in the audience appeared to be impressed by her presentation. At the end of the meeting, Hope went up to Steffi, her annoyance simmering beneath the surface. Hope spoke calmly but firmly, "Steffi, I think we should talk about what your return means for the rest of us." since you departed, a lot has changed, therefore I believe it's critical to ensure that everyone is in agreement. Steffi's attitude was calm and collected as she lifted an eyebrow. Naturally, Hope. I'd be pleased to talk about any worries you may have. To be clear, though, this is my family's business. I won't apologize for wanting to be a part of what we've created, but I also won't be here to tread on anyone's toes. Despite not being totally persuaded by Steffi's assurances, Hope nodded. I only hope that this isn't about establishing a point or regaining territory. We've put a lot of effort into getting the business to where it is now, and I want to make sure that everyone is going in the same direction rather than going in separate places. Although courteous, Steffi's grin had a faint undertone of condescending. Thank you, Hope, for your concern. But believe me, everything I do is for the benefit of the business. The impact of Brooke. Afterwards, Hope found comfort in talking to her mother, Brooke Logan, whose own relationship with the Forrester family was almost as complex as Hope's. Never one to hold back when speaking her mind, Brooke was eager to affirm Hope's emotions. With a determined tone, Brooke stated, "You have every right to question Steffi's motives. She typically makes everything about herself, so I wouldn't be shocked if her reappearance had a bigger purpose. However, Hope, don't let her scare you. Nobody can take away your position at Forrester Creations because you earned it." Although Brooke's remarks provided some consolation, they also made Hope's fury worse. She couldn't help but wonder whether her own resentment of Steffi's mother, Taylor Hayes, and the years of antagonism that had characterized their relationship had influenced Brooke's viewpoint. Liam's viewpoint. Liam, however, was once more stuck in the middle. He was well aware of the delicate balance he had to maintain as Hope's spouse and the father of Steffi's daughter, Kelly. While acknowledging Hope's sentiments of insecurity, he also urged her to maintain an open mind. During one of their late-night conversations, Liam said, "I understand why you're upset. But perhaps you should concentrate on what you've already done rather than what Steffi might do. Hope, you have often shown your worth. That remains unchanged even after Steffi returns." Although Hope was grateful for Liam's support, she couldn't get rid of the uneasy sensation that Steffi's homecoming would unavoidably ruin the peace she had worked so hard to establish. The larger picture. As the days passed, Hope began to struggle with mixed feelings. On the one hand, she hoped that Steffi's return would help the business and that her motives were sincere. However, she was unable to overlook the pattern of rivalry and strife that had characterized their relationship for so long. When Steffi came up with a daring new marketing strategy that directly contradicted some of Hope's concepts, the issue reached a critical point. Although the Forrester Creations crew enthusiastically embraced the proposition, Hope couldn't shake the suspicion that Steffi was purposefully sabotaging her. Hope expressed her worries to Ridge in a heated exchange. She remarked, "I simply don't understand why Steffi can't cooperate with us rather than attempting to take over. She doesn't seem to trust other people to make decisions." Ever the mediator, Ridge attempted to soothe Hope. "Steffi has a lot of passion, which occasionally comes across as controlling. Hope, though, she respects you. If she didn't think we were doing the right thing, she wouldn't be here." The path ahead. It became evident that Hope and Steffi's relationship was at a turning point as tensions remained high. It was unclear if they would be able to cooperate or if their rivalry would overcome them once more. One thing was clear, though, Steffi's return to Forrester Creations had rekindled old feuds and brought up fresh concerns about the company's and its executives' future. For a week of profound changes in the world of the bold and the beautiful, the glittering Los Angeles skyline provided a colorful background. The story revolved around two women whose lives couldn't have been more dissimilar: Brooke Logan, the fiery matriarch who had reached her breaking point with Ridge Forrester, and Daphne Rose, the mysterious newcomer with a taste for seduction and ambition. Everyone around them would be affected by what they did, which would lead to conflicts, treachery, and a startling outburst of intense emotion that left Ridge speechless. Arrival of Daphne, Los Angeles meets its match. Daphne Rose wasn't the kind to enter quietly. The mysterious and seductive brunette had made a name for herself in the competitive world of Forrester Creations quite rapidly. With a bright mind, a flawless sense of style, and a charisma that could disarm even the most stoic opponents, Daphne had already established herself as a formidable opponent. However, as she targeted the elite of Los Angeles, it became evident that her goal was to seize power rather than merely go up the business ladder. There was a commotion among the Forrester Creations team when Daphne arrived. She was a perfect fit for the fashion industry because of her unwavering confidence and audacious ideas, but her strategies were everything from traditional. She had succeeded in drawing attention, raising eyebrows, and igniting suspicions of hidden agendas in the days after her debut. In her latest power struggle, she pretended to be a close confidant of the family patriarch, Eric Forrester. To the dismay of many who had been competing for the same position, she had gained his trust and landed a highly sought-after part in the company's most recent campaign. Daphne, however, wasn't satisfied with just winning professional contests. She also had her sights set on a personal victory. Daphne had unwittingly become interested in Finn, Steffi Forrester's quiet and devoted husband. What began as light flirtations soon turned into something more strategic. Finn appeared to be drawn to Daphne's magnetic presence, and even while he remained devoted to Steffi, it was obvious that Daphne's charm was hard to resist. The breaking point of Brooke. Brooke Logan, on the other side of town, was going through her own difficulty. It seems that there was no turning back now that her turbulent relationship with Ridge Forrester had boiled over once more. The most recent chapter in their legendary relationship had driven Brooke to her breaking point, but she and Ridge had been caught in a cycle of passion, betrayal, and reconciliation for decades. Ridge's prolonged relationship with Taylor Hayes served as the impetus for Brooke's rage. Ridge had promised to put their marriage first, but his continued relationship with Taylor had caused an unbridgeable divide between him and Brooke. Brooke was overcome with a sense of betrayal when she learned that Ridge had been talking to Taylor about things he had kept from her. It was about the lack of trust and respect that had become the defining characteristic of their relationship, not just about Ridge's behavior. Brooke addressed him in their living room and said, "You promised me, Ridge," her voice shaking with emotion. "You assured us that you would prioritize us and that we would start over. However, here you are, returning to Taylor whenever you can. In what way am I to trust what you say?" Ever the master of deflection, Ridge attempted to minimize the severity of the issue. Using the moniker that once won her heart, he continued, "Logan, it's not what you think. Taylor and I are merely pals. This is being exaggerated by you." Brooke, however, would not have it. She was tired of acting as though nothing was wrong since the years of lies and half-truths had now caught up with her. "I'm not exaggerating anything, Ridge," she retorted, her voice growing irate. "I'm tired of being your second choice because you've been lying to me." When Ridge made a condescending remark that touched a nerve, the conflict reached its climax. "Brooke, you're being very dramatic. Perhaps we wouldn't be having this discussion if you paid more attention to us and less attention to Taylor." That was the last straw. Without hesitation, Brooke lifted her hand and gave Ridge a loud smack across the face, sending shockwaves through the room. The repercussions. Ridge's cheek was scarlet from the contact as he stood in stunned silence. Breathing heavily, Brooke gazed at him with a mix of sadness and rage. The weight of what had just transpired hung heavily in the air for a while, and neither of them spoke. At last, Brooke broke her voice and said, "Ridge, I can't do this any longer. If someone doesn't fight for me, I can't keep fighting for them." She then turned and left, leaving Ridge to deal with the fallout from his actions on his own. What Daphne will do next? Daphne was busy planning her next move while Brooke and Ridge's relationship fell apart. Now that she had Finn squarely in her sights, she had no intention of letting anything or anybody get in her way. At a charity banquet, she arranged a fortuitous meeting with Finn, putting herself in his orbit and utilizing her charm to start a conversation. Finn maintained his professionalism and courtesy, but Daphne's motivations were obvious. "You exude such a soothing aura, Finn," Daphne remarked in a gentle and hospitable tone. "In this crazy society, it's uncommon to discover someone so grounded. Steffi is a fortunate lady." Ever the gentleman, Finn gave a kind grin but swiftly shifted the conversation. Nevertheless, Daphne's remarks stuck with him, sowing doubt in his mind. The worlds colliding. Brooke, Ridge, and Daphne's lives became more and more entwined as the week went on. Reeling after her encounter with Ridge, Brooke turned to her family for comfort and started to doubt if her marriage was worth preserving. Ridge was at a crossroads because he was divided between his unresolved love for Taylor and his allegiance to Brooke. Daphne's unrelenting pursuit of Finn, however, started to erode his otherwise strong bond with Steffi. Daphne's presence served as a reminder of the difficulties and temptations that accompanied their prominent life, even though Finn remained devoted to his wife. With each individual battling their own goals and challenges, the scene was set for a collision of worlds. As tensions increased and alliances changed, it became evident that these events would have far-reaching and unpredictable effects. Gazing ahead, Brooke found herself doubting both her connection with Ridge and her own feeling of value as she considered her options. She confided in her sister, Katie, that perhaps it was time for her to start prioritizing herself. "I've devoted a significant portion of my life to defending Ridge, but what has it actually accomplished for me?" Ridge, meanwhile, started to see how serious his errors were. It was unclear, however, if he was worthy of a second opportunity or if he could undo the harm he had caused. Then there was Daphne, whose strategic actions kept the Forrester world in a state of shock. She appeared to tighten her hold on everyone around her with every stride, forcing them all to wonder, what was her ultimate goal? As the week came to an end, there were still more questions than answers, which paved the way for more heartache, drama, and surprising turns. Nothing was ever as it seemed in the world of the bold and the beautiful, and nobody was exempt from the consequences of their decisions. That much was clear. Drama, intrigue, and controversy are the lifeblood of the bold and the beautiful's glittering fashion world, and few people have sparked the scene as explosively as Daphne Rose. In her pursuit of power and influence, the mysterious and aspirational newcomer has been a sensation in Los Angeles, disobeying the law and erasing boundaries. Daphne revealed her most startling twist to date just when everyone believed they grasped her plan. She had Hope Logan in her sights rather than Carter Walton as they had assumed. This revelation sent Forrester Creations into a frenzy. The unexpected turn, the redirected charm of Daphne. Daphne Rose had established a reputation as a skilled manipulator who used her charisma and seductive charm to influence people. At first, everything suggested that Carter Walton would be her next victim. Carter appeared like the ideal fit for Daphne's games because of his commanding personality and position as COO of Forrester Creations. Even the most collected employee would have wondered if Daphne was plotting a romantic power play based on her lingering looks and seemingly innocent compliments. But Daphne was too shrewd to play her cards in a predictable way. Daphne surprised everyone by concentrating her sexy energy on Hope Logan, the bright and wholesome designer whose private life was already being scrutinized, rather than Carter. The vulnerability of Hope. Life lately had been a wild ride for Hope. Trust concerns, adultery, and outside meddling plagued her marriage to Liam Spencer. She had made a concerted effort to keep things normal, but anyone who paid close attention could see the fissures in their relationship. Ever the opportunist, Daphne recognized an opportunity in those fractures. Hope's recent successes at Forrester Creations had given her more self-assurance in her career, but she was lost in her personal life. Daphne was more than delighted to take advantage of her emotional needs for connection and validation, which were brought on by the emotional strain of her marital troubles. It started out innocently enough. Daphne praised Hope's vision and inventiveness while complimenting her creations. During a friendly visit in the design studio, she remarked, "Hope, you have such an eye for detail. It's uncommon to find someone who can so skillfully combine elegance and innovation. I've long appreciated your work." Hope felt flattered because she was not used to receiving such frank and profuse praise. Daphne's personality added to the allure of the attention, and her statements looked sincere. The slow seduction. Daphne took a methodical and intentional approach. Instead of making overt advances, she concentrated on getting to know Hope. She became a sounding board for both personal and professional issues, joined Hope for coffee breaks, and contributed ideas during brainstorming sessions. The pivotal moment occurred at Forrester Creations during an after-hours work session. Alone in the studio, Daphne and Hope were completing the details of a forthcoming collection. Hope revealed her difficulties with Liam as the evening went on and the topic became more intimate. With a hint of melancholy in her voice, Hope said, "I just don't know if we're on the same page anymore." Even though we've been through a lot, there are moments when it seems like we're only clinging to the past. Daphne grabbed the opportunity and leaned closer. Hope, she whispered, you deserve someone who really sees you. Someone who doesn't make you doubt your value and who recognizes your genius. Hope was immediately stunned by the depth of Daphne's look and the earnestness of her voice. The way Daphne stared at her had an exhilarating quality that made her feel both excited and uneasy. A fresh dynamic. The dynamics at Forrester Creations changed as word spread that Daphne had flirted with Hope. Co-workers conjectured about Daphne's intentions. Some thought she was only attempting to stir up trouble, while others suspected a more profound and intimate reason. Ever protective of her family and business, Steffi Forrester watched the events closely. Her suspicion that Daphne's actions were a part of a bigger plot that would have disastrous repercussions for Hope and Forrester Creations persisted. Liam Spencer, meantime, became more and more uncomfortable. Liam couldn't ignore the minor shifts in Daphne's conduct, even though Hope reassured him that she was only a friend and co-worker. She appeared to be less willing to divulge the specifics of her daily life, more secretive and more preoccupied. You've been hanging out with Daphne a lot lately, Liam said one night in a suspicious tone. Is there anything I should be aware of? Despite Hope's dismissal of his worries, their growing tension gave Daphne the chance to strengthen their relationship. The endgame of Daphne. Even though Daphne and Hope were becoming closer, it was still unclear what her genuine intentions were. Did she really find Hope attractive, or was this just another ploy to increase her power at Forrester Creations? One of Daphne's best qualities was her ability to keep everyone guessing. Her interest in Hope appeared to some as a power move, a means of appending the Logan Spencer-Forrester triangle that had long controlled the business. Others saw it as a sincere attraction motivated by respect and a need to connect. Regardless of her motivations, Daphne's actions were unquestionably successful. In addition to upsetting Hope's private life, she had caused friction between the Logan and Forrester families. The aftermath. The ramifications started to materialize as Daphne and Hope's connection became closer. Liam confided in Wyatt about his anxieties as he felt more and more estranged. He remarked, I don't know what's going on, but something's changed. Hope isn't the same, and I keep thinking Daphne is behind it. Steffi faced Daphne head-on, determined to keep her business and her family safe. I'm not sure what your strategy is, but I won't allow you to harm Hope or anybody else in this organization, she said. Ever calm, Daphne smiled mischievously as she met Steffi's eyes. Steffi, I'm not here to harm anyone. I'm simply being myself here. Perhaps people should examine their own insecurities more closely if it causes them discomfort. The altercation just made things more tense, laying the groundwork for a spectacular confrontation that would hopefully expose Daphne's true motivations. Gazing ahead. As the story progressed, it became evident that Daphne's presence had permanently altered Forrester Creations' terrain. Questions concerning loyalty, trust, and the limits of professional relationships were brought up by her relationship with Hope. Would Hope give in to Daphne's charms, or would she be able to see through the seduction and realize that something might be wrong? Was this the start of the end for the once happy couple, or could Liam find a way to mend their broken marriage? And above all, what was Daphne's ultimate objective? Was she a long-term strategist, a romantic seeking true connection, or a disruptor seeking chaos?